the coolest thing about you is that you do cool stuff with TVs, and I like watching TV, and other people like watching TV, and so there's a good chance that they've probably seen what you've been hanging up on the walls, and that's TVs. Greetings, Red Tie community. It's the Ball Guy and the Red Tie. John Butler, your favorite bald-headed red tie wearing red tie show host and realtor extraordinaire, with a very special guest in the studio today, Mr. Pat Cronin of MVP.
Woo!
Yeah, buddy.
Love it.
I need to get an applause button.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. You have arrived.
I have.
So we have TVs in here,
Mm-hmm.
and you are the TV master, per se.
Try to be.
Yeah. Anyone in this local area of Temecula Valley, if they've gone to restaurants or if they've gone to Aerosport, the trampoline place, they've probably seen your work.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
All around this town, I've done a lot of restaurants. Like I said, the Aerosports jumpy places. And numerous of other places we've done for cameras and Guadalajara's and Luke's Restaurant in Old Town. Tons of places. I've probably done them.
So this whole revolution of the flat screen TV was kind of a godsend for you over the past 20 years, hasn't it been?
Yes. The flat screens, and like right now, the hot thing right now is security cameras.
Also, you do that as well?
Yes.
Okay. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show today, because, I sell real estate, and so people are moving into homes, and one of the very first things that they want to do to their house, besides, paint, carpet, that kind of stuff, is hang their TV. Mm-hmm. If anything, that's probably the first thing that they do.
That's what the man thinks.
Yeah.
The man thinks, where am I putting my TV? That's all he cares about as he's walking through that house.
I had a long conversation with a buyer recently, and you actually installed their TV, but it was, is it going to be on this wall, or is it going to be on that wall? This wall or that wall? Mm-hmm. And so I have to go see where you hung his TV.
I think it was right over his fireplace.
Oh, he did over the fireplace? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of the gifting that you have is actually you installed my TV.
Uh-huh. I've been to your house numerous times.
Over the fireplace. And what I love about your work is that it's meticulous, because you had to do some drywall stuff, to hide the wires and things. It's always kind of silly when you see a TV hanging and then the wires are just dangling down. You're like, oh, that doesn't look all that great.
Yeah, we see that a lot. Actually, a lot of people do that to try to do it their home job, try to do it themselves, so they hire what's called a handyman. Yeah. Handymans are not TV installers, but they try, and I go repair those too.
Very cool. So how did you get into installing TVs? Like, what led you to this journey?
Well, I ran a company when I first started this over 14 years ago called Southwest Dealer Services, and I was the one that used to put TVs in cars where they had the flip downs and the headrest.
Oh,
so I was the head of that, and Southwest Dealer Services was a company that did it for all the Southern California dealerships. I mean, everyone. So like when you go buy a car, or anybody in this world buys a car, you go sign your paperwork. It's always, you want to paint fab protection, you want the alarm, you want the extended warranty. Well, that's Southwest Dealer Services. They're the ones that sell that stuff to you. And then they make their margins. And then one of them I was ahead of was the TVs. So I took care of all the Southern California dealerships. Well, what happened way back when is there's a new introduction called the iPad came out. And so now you could buy an iPad back then for like $499, $399 versus $2,100, $2,500 for two headrests, but the kids can now do what the heck they want. So our marketing was declining rapidly because of iPad.
Interesting.
Then the Samsung tablets and all the tablets started coming out, and so the little kids could have something to do nowadays. So it was going down, so the company at that point in time pulled me in the office and said, we don't want to fire you, but we don't want to marry any more cars because we had to match the factory warranty. And so they said, we're not going to be around 3 more years or 4 more years. So they offered me the whole company of that side. They said, we're not going to let you go, but we are. You got to change your name. You're going to keep the phone number. That's hence why I have a 760 number out of Carlsbad. And we're going to email all the dealerships and let them know that you're on your own now, not through us, but they only knew me anyway because I was the face of it.
Right.
And what they also offered me was for the next 3 years, they would take care of compensation for me to go do all the repairs that needed to happen, do whatever it took to get clear Southwest for the last 3 years.
Got it.
Plus, they gave me all the merchandise that we had. I mean, it was a great offer. The only thing I was scared about is, okay, now I don't have a check coming in. But I knew what that part made because I was the one that did the books. So I knew I could last. And then I brought it up to one of my good friends, Rick and Pam, and they said, "Oh, Mike, you got this." And of course, then my backbone, my wife, everyone knows Susan Johnson Cronin. She just said, "You know what? We can do this." And she said, "You're going to do this because me and you and her as a couple." So we said, "I got you." So also with her knowing so many people in actually your field, she got to have me walk in and meet all the real estate agents. And exactly what you just said earlier is everyone needs what I do.
Yeah.
Even back 13 years ago.
Yep.
Everybody still needs what I do. So it came to be an easy process because of her. She introduced me to everybody. So it helped out big time.
Yeah, and for those who are in the Temecula Valley real estate industry, you'd probably definitely know Susan Johnson Cronin. She is a dynamic woman, so fiery, blonde-haired, go-getter, team leader, world shaker, mover, and things like that. So
My rah-rah girl.
Well, I could see how that pairing is a dynamic force to be reckoned with. So you're a lucky man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. She's my world.
Yeah, but it is such a perfect alignment because, as we discussed, it's one of the very first things that homeowners want to do is hang their TV because a lot of these TVs, I don't even do they come with stands or they pretty much
come
have
with stands. Yeah,
but nobody wants it on a stand.
Not
for the most
part. You get
part.
the one in a few, but no.
Yeah, I mean, it always looks better when it's on the wall, and it always looks better when you don't have the wires dangling and everything's just slick and it looks great. And then with the advent of all these security cameras, with these apps on the phone and stuff, because I got the Ring camera, which I know is kind of the most basic level of stuff.
It's actually one of the best for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I even have it. I have that. I also have some of the Ring cameras around my house.
Wow.
Actually, today I just sold another 4 more.
Wow.
So right now, I'm in a lot of areas right now as people are watching Facebook and all their neighborhoods. You see on Facebook, Temecula Talks and all these different neighborhood talks. You're seeing about the people now going out at midnight and with the hoodies on and trying to test people's door handles, see if they open up to rob them.
It's ridiculous.
It's all over the Facebook, and I'm sure everybody's seeing them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, a lot of people are getting in touch with me because you can find me easily on Yelp. Usually number 1 on that, 275 5-star reviews.
Wow. How do they find you? Is it Pat Cronin or is it by
MVP?
MVP.
Okay.
MVP
Home Theaters. That's under Yelp. Or they just Google MVP. I have a web page too. Most 80% of my customers find me from Yelp.
Interesting. Oh, that's a good source.
Yelp is good or evil.
Double-edged sword, my friend.
It's a big time, but I kind of like it for one reason is it makes me be on my game.
Yeah.
I have to be that person. I have to have that professionalism and that do whatever the customer, like the customer's always right type thing. I mean, sometimes we all know, no, they're not, but you know what? You have to do that because now what's happened is like what we're doing here right now. They can go on Yelp and say, I was the worst guy in the world, even though if anyone who knew me, and no, I'm nowhere near that. Yeah. I try my butt off to make sure everybody's happy. So
and there's just always going to be a select few in society where it doesn't matter. You can give them the moon and the stars, and they're still not going to be happy because that's just the way that they're wired.
Well, I think also the word is when everything's going their way, you're a rock star. And like I've have out of those all these years, I only have 5 bad reviews. One of them just happened that I didn't even do the house. I don't even know who the heck this person is. Me and my stars looked at who is this person because everything they wrote bad about me, we actually don't even do. So I get to do the response on there and say, who are you? And we don't run wires on our carpet and stuff. Everything you said that I did, we don't do.
Yeah.
I even called Yelp to see if they can remove it. Of course they don't. So there's your double edge.
Yeah.
Then you got another guy that I did a fabulous job on some cameras. Because I always walk the job with every customer, where they want the cameras, how I'm going to do it, get their approval. If I'm going to put some condo on the outside of their house, where they want to see it, where they don't want to see it, and I don't do anything without the customer's approval. And like I said, there's one other bad review is that I did everything perfect. You pay me everything. I was the best thing since sliced cheese, And then all of a sudden, what happened was, and honestly, as I'm an honest guy, my guy was putting a camera up and nicked one of his gutters. He didn't know. We didn't see it because it was just like, I would say 2 nail holes like that, so you couldn't hardly see it. But when it rained, it was raining down on the camera, and he called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? We got a problem." So I sent my guy out there. He looked at it, and we had two ways we could fix it. Either A, we're going to put some flex lube in there for him if he wants it that way, or B, let's replace it. He opted to do the flex lube and see if it would be fine versus having to call these different people to get it fixed. I said, whatever you want, you're the customer. And we did the flex lube, but 3 weeks later, he called me again and said, it didn't help. That's okay. What do you want to do next? Well, me saying, what do you want to do next, turned into that bad review everyone could read there on Yelp. It's crazy. I was not, he was, everything you could think was wrong. He wanted me to redo the whole job. It just became, I was his worst nightmare when all I was doing is trying to help. So that's why I said. That's
love
why I
it.
said you flick those switches in people.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that every day yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what you do. I mean, I know what you do.
Yeah.
So when I see my wife go through, it's like I can see what you have to go through.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the real estate process is that it's not a one-day job or a week job. It's a 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes a year or two kind of job. And so I like to say that 90% of our job is, being a consultant or a counselor, and just because it's a very emotional process. And, people, they have their good days and their bad days, and sometimes real estate either makes them super happy or not so happy. And, it's the rocky road that we all travel. But the important thing is that they're happy when they get to the end of the journey.
Correct.
So
that's why I try to make it.
Yep.
I mean, I ask, because everybody who calls me and I do the job, or anybody that calls, I always say, "How'd you hear about me?"
Yeah.
And they'll tell me who it is. And when I'm doing the job, it's because I'm sure even like you, when you're taking people out, they talk. And after they get done with the journey with us, they always say, "What was with this such and such guy?" He goes, "You're nothing like that." I said, "Well, that's what it is." They also give us a 5-star review. But a lot of people say that. What happened? Because you're nothing like this says. And I said, no, I'm the same on every job.
Yeah.
Is that some people perceive you.
Yep. Yeah, that's part of life, isn't it? So let's dig into your backstory a little bit here, because obviously you're great at what you do with that many Yelp reviews. So I like to deconstruct the character and see how you became the man that you are today. So where did you grow up at?
Woodland Hills, California. I was a Valley boy.
Yeah?
Yep. Hey, dude.
Oh, the Valley dudes.
Yeah, Valley dude. That was me.
And so what brought you out to the Temecula Valley then?
My girlfriend at the time, 28 years ago, got pregnant, and she has her mother living out here in Lake Elsinore. And she decided to move from Woodland Hills out here to Lake Elsinore and be with her mom and through this first pregnancy of hers. And actually, no, sorry about that. It was her second. And moved out here to Lake Elsinore. And then, I was all set up in the Woodland Hills with a job for I don't know how many years. And but when the baby was born, I just basically said, she wasn't moving back, and I wanted to be a dad, and do the right thing. So I packed up everything and moved out here to this area when nothing was here.
Man, so you've really seen this whole area blossom then.
Yes.
That's
I mean, it used to be, from me driving from Woodland Hills to here, right when we hit the 15, was woohoo! I mean, you just flew. I mean, it was the best thing ever. We couldn't wait to get to the 15. Now, of course, we all know that story.
Yeah, now it's a parking lot for the most part.
But back then, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the 215, nobody was on it. So it was great.
So you've really seen this whole area kind of develop, and you've kind of been on that front edge of it, being a part of it after what we just discussed, of being one of the first people in their, someone's home to hang their TVs and things like that. This whole community has been such a blessing, I know, to my life, and it sounds like it has been to your life. And so, thank goodness for this whole area and just the growth and kind of being on that cutting edge of it.
Yes. Yeah, it's a blessing, actually.
That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've heard about you, sir,
Okay.
is that you are a rock star, meaning you like to go to concerts. Is that kind of your gig?
Yeah. I do a lot of rocks. Plus, also, we also do my brother-in-law, Robert Walker. He's from Heyday Records, and he does all the winery concerts. So I'm a big sponsor. I'm main sponsor for all those events also every summer.
Wow.
So all those winery concerts you see out there at Belvino and Palomar and all those places, that's us.
Wow. So, man, you're a very active guy.
I try to be.
So
I hate sitting home.
Yeah, you seem like one of those guys that you always want to be doing something.
Yeah. If I'm sitting home, it's got to be watching a movie or watching football, or I'm not home.
Yeah, you're on the move, huh?
Yep.
So what are some of the best concerts you've seen? Any amazing headlining acts?
I've seen, to be honest with you, I've seen every rock band that's out. The only band I have not seen is Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
I've seen everything that has to do with Led Zeppelin, from Robert Plant to The Firm, but that's the only band that you can sit here that's rock and roll that I have not seen.
So Guns N' Roses?
Tons. I saw Guns N' Roses when they were actually awful.
Oh,
before
like
they were signed.
Back in the 80s?
Yes, way back before they were signed, playing. It was actually at the Gazaris.
Yeah.
They actually were headlining. My friend was in a band, so I was there for that, and then they were the headliners, and it was like maybe 50, 60 people in that room, and they were awful.
Really?
Oh,
Because they were hammered or what?
That and it just like what you hear today when you heard the first album. Oh boy, it's completely different.
Wow.
It was just completely different.
That's still their best album, I would
Oh
say.
heck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, my very very first concert was Van Halen Woman and Children First Tour.
And so what year was that?
Was it 82?
Wow.
That was my first concert. That and after that would have been Cheap Trick, Dream Police Tour.
And so how old were you when you went to that?
I think 16, 17.
Oh, so you just, and then you got that little taste of it. You
Yep,
just ran with
just
it.
gone.
Huh?
I love music. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit picky. I love rock and roll. I could handle some of the pop country stuff, but a real country I just cannot do.
Yeah.
But there's a taste for everybody.
So are you into mumble rap?
What's mumble rap?
I take no.
What is that?
It's whatever my 14-year-old's listening to, which I can't understand because it's called mumble rap. And so they don't even try to have lyrics anymore. So they go, cash money, cash money. And then that's mumble
That sounds
rap.
like that Billie Irish girl to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, I don't know how she won Best Record. Again, that's why I said I'm a biased guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like music, and when they actually sing, play an instrument. Again, everyone's got their own taste, but I mean, every song I've heard of her, just and I'm like, what? That won Best Record? I mean, heck, Pink does a heck of a lot better job than that, you know?
Yeah. So I know this is probably a stretch, but out of all the bands, what's your favorite band of all time?
Van Halen.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Van Halen freak. That's why. But today's date, it's Shinedown.
Shinedown.
Yeah, that's my favorite all-time band right now. But if I had to pick one, it would be Van Halen. Van Halen and Van Hagar. I'm a big Sammy Hagar freak. He's my idol, actually, of rock and roll.
Really?
Yeah.
So that settles that argument of, was it Dave Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar?
No, I don't think either one was better. I think they were both, what they did in that era was great. I mean, who doesn't like either or?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some people, Dave Lee Roth, again, those in my world, that's called the negative people. There's nobody in this world that likes rock and roll can say they didn't like either or.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both for what they did for Van Halen, outstanding. As a matter of fact, if you really want to get biased about it, Van Hagar is the only one that had #1 records.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're the only ones that had #1 singles.
See, you're like a piece of rock and roll history, man.
I love it. Actually, also helped me from when I grew up in Woodland Hills. Growing up back then, there was a place called the Country Club in Reseda. If anyone lives in the valley that's watching this, knew about that place in the 80s, and everybody that's anybody today went through there. Everybody. From Metallica to the Tubes. I mean, just everybody. Oingo Boingo, all went through this place. And so I lived there. I basically just lived there.
Do you have musical talent?
I used to play the drums. That's basically all I do, but I haven't played drums about 20 years.
I mean, is it?
I'm a damn good air guitarist and drummer, though. I rock at that.
So if we pull up to you at a stoplight and we see you rocking out, that's
and I
your
could do it on key too.
Yeah?
I'm pretty good at it.
That's awesome, man. So as your boyhood dream, was it to be a rock star?
Not really.
No?
Growing up, I've always been in electronics. Like I said, what I didn't say is when I was in Woodland Hills, I worked at a place called Stereo City in Woodland Hills. I put car alarms and stereos in cars. So I used to make the loudest, most bass and everything else, the loudest car. So that's what I was doing growing up.
So you've just always been interested in electronics.
Yep.
Huh. What a great era for you to be born in.
That was I say this almost every day, to be honest with you. If I'm seeing sometimes, as I go into homes and I see how sometimes some little kids are, and like you just said about the mumble rap and hearing what these people are listening to, I see almost every day. I would not trade my life for anything.
Yeah.
The era of the music, I don't care what genre, there's music, movies, actors, the list goes on. Cars, the way cars were made, everything was just prime.
Yeah.
To today.
Well, that and then just you really caught the perfect timing of existing because of the whole technology revolution. With 100 years ago they weren't doing that kind of stuff.
No.
Right. So you're born at the perfect time to watch all of this begin.
Right.
And I feel like I'm one of the last generations to be born before the internet, before we all have cell phones in our hands and things like that. So it's like I tell my kids, oh yeah, we didn't have the internet when I was your age. Like, what? That's just a weird thing.
Weird, but life was better.
I would say so too. Yeah.
Life, I mean, I was one of the first ones to have one of those bag phones, from running a company back then at this place, because I was always had to get in touch with. So I had the bag phone, Motorola bag phones back then, or even the ones that mounted to the car and you had that antenna on the back, and I had all that. But it's life today was just, when we were growing up, it was awesome. Come home when the street light goes.
Yep. Drink
We
from the water
played.
hose.
We played. We did kickball and broom ball, and we just played. We had a good time. Skateboard. I was a big skateboarder. Constantly skateboarded everywhere.
Wow.
So,
Well, looking forward, what's going to be coming up into your life radar over the next 5 to 10 years? What would you like to see happen?
lose cell phones. Make it to where the heads are timing. No, I'm fine with you. That's a great question, because the way the world's going is Star Trek. Opening doors for you. Lazy. I think the way the world's going is lazy. I think there was a cartoon, I remember what it's called, where everyone was sitting down and everyone's getting fat and everything was doing everything for you. I don't remember what cartoon that was, but that's how we're getting. This Alexa thing, actually, honest to truth, that's what I do for a living, but it drives me nuts. Especially the commercials, except that one they just finally put out, and I praise that one. If the guy's trying to say Alexa was like messing up on him all the time, he starts breaking things around the house. That's the truth, though.
Yeah.
That is the reality.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't work. Yes, it does. But a lot of times it doesn't, and it doesn't understand what you're trying to say, so you're constantly getting angry at it. But the problem is the other commercials that you hear everyone saying, Alexa, do this, and Alexa, do that, and it happens. No, it doesn't. It does sometimes, but not all the time. So that's where it makes my life. That's where my life, if to answer your question, the 5 years is going to make it really hard.
Because everything's just going to be automated like that?
Everybody's looking at that. But then also, it's very costly, because you just can't buy the little thing that sits on your table and make everything work. No, you got to change out the lights. You got to change out the fit. You got to change and program everything, and everything's through your internet and the Wi-Fi. And if something goes down, well, guess what? Everything else goes down.
Wow.
And that's when the people get angry and they're calling me and say, it doesn't work. Well, so we've even lost. MVP has lost some jobs. If I want to go back a little while, back to, I think your question asked me a while ago, was how I started. So how I started a long time ago to make who I am today was Facebook. I met some friends that I grew up with, and we went and played racquetball in the Sherman Oaks. We all met at Sherman Oaks racquetball place over there. I forgot what it's called. And that's where we went afterwards for pizza and beer. And they were telling me what they're doing. We got caught up. And two of my good friends are very high-end contractors. So they actually work for the famous people, all the actors, sports guys, music guys. And when they buy a home, they will rip everything out and redo it for them. And the other guy sitting across the table said, well, and I do all the audio video for it. Well, my wife's brilliant idea for my name, MVP, was actually called Mobile Video Plus, because I was cars, mobile video. And she added the plus, because she goes, you're not doing this anymore, so you got to do something. And there was my plus. So I looked at him, I said, that's it. I want to do homes. And that's how it started. So he hired me, and I worked for him for 2.5 years, and I've done every actor you could probably name that lives in Southern California. Wow. And learned everything from him. He taught me everything from the ground up, of everything that I had to do, all these smart houses. I've done, like I said, there's so many names I can name. But it also got me to the point where I was the guy driving from Temecula all the way to Malibu, Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, Sherman Oaks, to fix these things, because when they come back from filming or whatever they were doing, tour, hey, we forgot how to use it. Or it didn't work, or they forgot to pay the bills, they were gone, and the internet went down.
Right. And
it got trying on me.
I bet.
And then also from doing these it's called Control 4 or Crestron, that are really high-end smart homes. It got to me to the point where I was starting to do those out here, and I finally said, you know what, I got too much gray hair. Actually, I think now I have all gray hair. I don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
I do smart homes, but I don't do it to elaborate like that anymore, because it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay, and it's a mess. And every one that I've done or have seen other people done to where I have to go fix, which I wish I had these videos, which I should start doing. The people that have it, that call me and say, Pat, can you come to my home? I got a mess here. That's what they say. I got a mess here. I don't know how to get it right. I had a company who did it before, wants $10,000 to repair it because all the stuff is outdated. We never used it in the first place. Come out here and see what you can do for me. So that's where I learned, to answer your question again, 5 years, I've learned it to make it simpler.
Yeah.
It's more simple to do it easy. I mean, people want all this stuff, but I can get, if I had the videos, I could show you so many videos of people say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Even though that's pretty cool, but it's, to me, a headache.
And ultimately, isn't that why people initially get it, is because it's the coolness factor?
Yep.
But then the convenience factor kind of drops because, like you're saying, if the Wi-Fi goes out or whatnot, then it's...
Wi-Fi, or like I said, the stuff that to make it work,
Yeah.
like of your phone. This is how I say to my customers, it's like your phone or your computer. Do you keep your phone 5 years? Do you keep your computer 5 years? No. I mean, you change them out every 2 years. I'm every year, but the majority of people, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the computer's outdated. You got to be faster, or depending on what you're doing. Same with your phone. If I said to you, came to you right now and say, hey, I got this cool iPhone 6. You want it? Who's going to grab it?
Yeah, right. You can't even give them away. Yeah.
Who is going to grab it? Well, it's the same thing with technology.
Yeah.
And this is how I say to my customers exactly this. Would you want the iPhone 6? That's what you have in your home.
Yeah.
You now got to go to iPhone 11 because people understand phones and they understand iPhone. So that's what happens. And then I say, well, now this is going to cost you this much to replace all that. Deer in a headlight. So that's why I make it to where you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
In 5 years, you'll probably have to replace a receiver.
Simple and easy.
Yeah, and it's if there's a problem in this room, I could fix this room. You don't have any problems with the rest of your house? Well, that's okay, then we won't touch that. Why spend the money?
Yeah.
Here's your problem now. Let's just fix this.
Yeah.
So I make it so in the long run, customers are more happy. They're getting what they want, and it's simple. Because then not only it's not me using it. It's the customer using it.
Yeah.
So from all the complaints and everything I've heard from all the millions of homes I go in every year, it's everyone wants simple. They want to basically be able to push a button and it works.
Yeah. They don't want to have to be a technological wizard to figure it all out.
Right. I mean, I had this one guy just call me just the other day that I went over to his house. He goes, can you make the dang stuff work? He goes, I had to watch my grandkids. And I can't. What's remote? Can you walk me through this stuff?
Yeah.
So it's just, I try to make it simple.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good way to live life, is by simplicity.
Right.
And you bring a lot of value to this local community, and grateful to have you on the show, man.
I appreciate that.
Any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the Red Tie community?
Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
'Cause
you.
I think you rock.
Thanks, man.
I mean, I really do. I mean, I know a lot of real estate agents out here, which I'm blessed about. But, I do see you. I do hear you. Also, I liked your little thing you called me about was about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yep.
About the coupon.
Yep.
That I brought up, like I told you, when you told me, I laughed.
Yep.
Because that was actually another one of my wife's idea. She said, we should have those coupons for all these real estate agents to where, it's a great closing gift.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're actually listening to your client, like you said in the opening statement of this whole video is,
The first thing
they're saying is, where am I putting my TV? And the wife's going, well, I want carpet or hardwood or stuff like that. So you could say, you know what? I got some for you at the end of this, and giving those coupons out not only helps them of $100 off, helps everybody.
Yep.
I mean, it's a free $100 you're going to give your customer to help them get what they want.
Because they're going to pay for it anyways. They're
Right.
going to,
So why not help them?
Yep. Exactly.
And that's what I go through a lot of real estate companies, from all of them around everywhere. And I speak in front of all their agents, and I offer this all the time. But again, I think I talked to you about this also. I don't know why they don't. I mean, it's something that they need.
Yep.
But that's another talk.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to leave it off. So my fellow real estate agents of the Red Tech community, if you would like to get some coupons, make sure you reach out to Mr. Pat Cronin. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
You could always call me at 760-272-8327. Or you could also, like I said, you can go on Yelp. You can go on my email or my website, which is mobilevideoplus.net. And they can call you.
Yeah, call me. Call me, and I'll get you connected with Pat. So,
Or my wife. Everyone knows my wife also. I'm very easy to get hold of.
yeah, he's definitely not hiding. So, if you would like to get some coupons for your clients, if you'd like to get them hooked up, if you'd like to have some TVs hung, security cameras, all that good stuff, make sure you get in contact with Mr. Pat Cronin. And that concludes this episode of the Red Tie Community Show with the ball guy in the red tie and this handsome fella, Mr. Pat Cronin of
Thank
MVP, saying see you in escrow. Bye.